So I bought this place about 4.5 years ago. It was completely derelict. Everything you see now is what we had to do in order to make it my little dream escape. It's a pied-à-terre. It's small. We don't even have a guest room, but one of the best hotels in Santa Barbara is across the street, so how perfect. No one has to stay here, but they can come over for breakfast if they want to. We decided to have a place up here. It's been a dream of mine for many years, and when I found this place, I saw it on a Wednesday, I bought it on a Thursday. I knew that in spite of the work that needed to be done, it was going to be the perfect little escape for me and Steve and Mr. Peabody and Beatrice, and we come up as often as we can. So when I bought this place, someone had lived here for over 40 years, and all the walls were knotty pine paneling. And I remember thinking, what am I going to do with all this pine? It was so oppressive. And my mother said, well, darling, of course you're going to paint it all. And because it was my mother, I said, absolutely not. Because
you always do the antithesis of what your mom says.
Of course, that's what all daughters do. It wasn't long before that I realized, of course, I had to paint everything. The only thing I didn't paint was this ceiling, which is original to the house. There was so much water damage, however, that I actually had to have one of my decorative artists come in and faux the ceiling to look as though it was the original wood. Well, most of it is, but there were huge swaths of it that had been so badly damaged that she had to paint over it to make it look original.
I'm all of a sudden overcome by that you can see the mountains perfectly through this window.
Jim Plunkett was the architect of my house. He's a very well-known architect in Santa Barbara, and clearly he was no fool. It's a very odd angle, the fact that the living room doesn't come to a perpendicular point, but that he shaved off that corner of the house, I think, to pay homage and draw your attention to that fantastic
amazing setting
that exists just beyond.
What I love about this house is the size of it, the fact that it is like a jewel box. It is small, but everywhere you look, there's a vignette that calls me over to it and makes me want to just snuggle down and appreciate and be inspired by everything, all your collections.
So when I bought Casa Caserio, I thought, this is my opportunity to do minimalism. I am not a maximalist like Tony Duquette, and I thought somehow I would interpret this place in a Axel Vervoordian fashion, where there was only one perfect object and everything else was so reductionist. But unfortunately, I'm a collector, I'm a shopper, I'm a borderline hoarder. So every single tabletop in here is filled to the brim with whatever I have found in my travels on a Saturday afternoon when I run into all these funky antique shops and find, for instance, that little Edo period Japanese bronze turtle. How could I not bring that home? So whatever Marie Kondo says about finding joy in an object, I find joy in every single object that I've placed in this house. So simple and reductionist, it's not, but I'm surrounded by things I love. So this is our little den.
Love it.
You'll normally find my husband lying on the sofa reading a book. This originally was a doorway into the master bathroom. Master bathroom, as though there are many rooms. There's really just the one bedroom.
The one choice we had.
Yeah, but it was so odd to me that you had to walk through a bathroom in order to get to the bedroom.
Right, yeah.
And in spite of the fact that I've been married over 30 years, that still was
not good.
Creepy.
Yes.
So we boarded that up and we opened up this room, which was a dead end, to make an entrance into the master bedroom.
And then you gave yourself this wonderful opportunity for the bookshelves. And
we're both readers, and my husband's a writer, and this is only a fraction of the books that we have, in fact.
But did you build, what is this piece? It's amazing. It looks like it's custom, correct?
It is, but it couldn't be simpler.
It couldn't be simpler, but that's the beauty of it. That's what I love about this whole house, is that everything is reduced to the most simple shape and forms, and things that you love are inside of them, and that's what makes it so special.
So we opened up what was essentially that dead-end room and created a bedroom out of what must have been originally the garage.
Oh my gosh, look at that. This is like talk about a little jewel box. Most people would be so intimidated about how to carve out a master bedroom from the studs. You took this down to the studs.
And the room had no perpendicular walls. We were able to create these walls by giving up a little space, and this is a tiny bedroom. But I think in the end, the fact that we were able to create these closets
to gain balance, you gain even more space.
Thankfully, that space went to great use because somewhere back in this corner is a HVAC system, and underneath that low flat ceiling, we discovered something that kind of looks like this, but was so asymmetrical that I couldn't leave it. So we dropped the ceiling just a touch, and I was able to create a ceiling that works with the rest of the house, and with this rough sawn material feels like it was original.
But this house challenged you. You were saying you didn't even realize how much work was involved. You never gave up, but was there points where you thought, this is a lot more than I thought when I just made an offer on it, on that?
When I started replacing all the doors and windows because the proportions of the muttons and the styles weren't correct.
All the hardware's new.
All the hardware. It's new, but it's vintage.
Right.
I wanted hardware that would have been appropriate to the 1920s or 30s, so I collected vintage hardware, and I had custom doors and windows made.
You can't even tell all the work that you did.
All the casing, but do it in a way that was authentic and felt as though nothing had been touched, because that was what was important to me.